What's the difference between cleave and dismantle? Let's talk about it. Also, this video will be spoiler free, so for my anime onlys, you are welcome to watch this one. I will be referencing a couple of things from the manga, but they are purely just like technical data points from when Sukuna uses his technique. I won't be revealing anything about the narrative or the story surrounding those moments. Alright, so first and foremost, both cleave and dismantle are slashing attacks, and at the end of the day, they do operate pretty similarly, but they're clearly two distinct attacks with different names, so why is that? What's the difference between them? Well, the first thing a lot of people will tell you is that dismantle is used on inanimate objects, like buildings, and cleave is used on humans or living beings, and that's because the energy level of cleave can be changed and adjusted to cut through things with a higher durability, like a Jujutsu sorcerer, for example. And that understanding comes from when Sukuna used his malevolent shrine. So it's not exactly wrong, it's just not the full picture. So this understanding comes to us based on this panel above me, which is from when Sukuna used his domain against Mahoraga in Shibuya, and we're told, for anything with cursed energy, use cleave. However, for any inanimate objects, use dismantle. So this is true, but it's not the full picture, because this is just the targeting scheme for Malevolent Shrine, if you will. The way Sukuna constructed his domain was with these parameters. Use dismantle against inanimate objects and use cleave against humans. It basically boils down to this. Cleave is more powerful than dismantle. So when Sukuna was creating the parameters of his domain, he was doing so with efficiency, basically saying for any targets within the domain that are inanimate objects, use dismantle, because that'll get the job done just fine. Then for any targets within the domain that have cursed energy, use cleave, because those targets are going to be more durable, so use the stronger attack. So the confusion from this arises from that distinction. People think dismantle is only for inanimate objects because of the way it's used in the domain. However, that's incorrect. And we know this for a couple of reasons. The first of which is this panel. And this panel comes in literally the same chapter as the inanimate objects panel, except this one comes first. And it describes Sukuna has two types of slashing attacks. The main one is dismantle. The other one, cleave, can be adjusted depending on the target's toughness and cursed energy level. So all this is saying is these are both slashing attacks, except this one down here can be amped to be stronger. So basically use this one against tougher opponents. To further back this up, we literally see Sukuna use dismantle on living beings all of the time, like here against Mahoraga, for example. But also, anytime you see Sukuna do the finger guns, it's a dismantle attack. And I believe that any slash ever that Sukuna does that is ranged is a dismantle attack. I think that's part of the trade-off for why cleave is stronger than dismantle. Now, I'm not saying there has to be a binding vow at play here, but it would kind of make sense. But it might just be that this is how Sukuna's technique works without binding vows. But just think about it. Anytime he sends out a ranged slash, it's a dismantle, and he can't adjust the strength of it. It just is what it is. The trade-off being that he can do it at range, maybe, right? Whereas anytime he uses cleave, which is the more powerful attack that he can adjust, he has to make contact with the target. Now, I didn't go through literally and check every single time we see Sukuna use cleave, but I'm pretty sure he's always touching the target, which again would make sense. It's a trade-off, right? Like in order to do that amped, more powerful attack, he's got to be up close and actually touch you. Now, I can't show this because it's from one of the most recent chapters, but we literally have Sukuna himself say that his ranged slashes aren't powerful enough to get the job done, and he needs to make direct contact in order to take this opponent out. Just to get ahead of any comments that are like, well, in Malevolent Shrine, both cleave and dismantle are ranged attacks. That's not really how it works, because the way domains work is the guaranteed hit effect, right? So you can't think of cleave as being ranged in the domain. You could just think of it like he's automatically touching everyone in the domain. The same way Mahito's works, right? Because Mahito has to touch you to activate his technique, but in his domain, he doesn't have to. Same concept. So to tie all of this up in a neat little bow, dismantle is Sukuna's standard slashing attack, and he can send it out at range. And let's just assume it does X amount of damage, right? If Sukuna wants to increase that damage, X times a cursed energy multiplier, he can do so. And that attack is called cleave. However, he must be touching the target he wants to cleave. And finally, I just wanted to give a big shout out to Zoomerangs. Thank you so much for the support and the sponsored question, my friend. I hope this helped clear things up, and I will see you guys in the next one.